action between two fighters who are ranked in the bantamweight division but have never made bantamweight in the UFC. We have Norma Dumont fighting Chelsea Chandler. Matt, I said in the last video, how old's Chelsea Chandler? I put down 29 because Topology, Sherdog, they'll have her birthday and how old she should be, and they say 29. The UFC says 32. I don't know how old she is. I haven't asked. She trains at a Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, though, and I know that. She bites down in the mouthpiece and strikes with reckless abandon.
She does.
Her fights. Her takedowns are good. Her reversals are great. You saw the sweeps and the reversals to great effect against Yulia Stoliarenko, who got an early takedown of her own and went for what submission, Matt? It's the same one every time. Amber! Yeah. Wasn't able to get it done in that one. So Chandler, out of the scrambles, out of the Stoliarenko takedown attempts. Twice she got into mount. The last time was the last time, and she gets the win. So Chandler, performance bonus in that debut, a catch weight of 140 pounds. She's then ranked at 135. Norma Dumont's last time even trying for 135. She weighed 139.5, beat Ashlee Evans-Smith, who's on the prelims this weekend.
And if you don't know, now you know.
You think Dana White's going to say that?
If this is his fight on Twitter, Norma Dumont versus Chelsea Chandler, like when Muhammad Usman versus was the
Junior
last
Top.
that was terrible. Like, come on, Dana.
But Norma Dumont, well, you don't know what's going to happen, but Norma Dumont,
with that fight, you kind of did.
She's since missed the featherweight limit, 146.5 against Macy Chasson. Dumont, her last time out, Carol Hosa wins round 1, wins round 2, gets knocked down in the 3rd round, and then Carol does what Carol does. I'm going to dig underhooks and press the action in this fight that I'm losing. So for Norma Dumont, the Wushu Sanda background, we know how good the striking is. But for Chelsea Chandler, maybe a lesser-known commodity in the UFC. And we touched on kind of her basis coming in against Stoliarenko. Let's throw it on over to a clip from the introduction to Chelsea Chandler. So let's shift over to Chelsea Chandler. She does, of course, fight out of that Cesar Gracie gym. She was originally supposed to take on Leah Letson, but back in July 31st, it was announced that Stoliarenko was going to take the fight, so full cancel for both of these women. I listened to an interview with MMA Sucka and James Lynch not that long ago from Chelsea Chandler while she was driving. Don't do interviews while you drive. The audio quality is never good. You got to focus on the road. But what I will see out of it was this is what I gained. She's been training lots of armbar simulations. Lots of getting the fight to the mat and staying in that open guard and trying to land her own damage. She's been training at CSA Gym, which is where, oddly enough, Jessica Rose Clark trains. But some of the main training partners, Leslie Smith and Carrie Melendez. So a lot of speed and a lot of striking. The other thing that I have out of this one, and I am going to read this word for word. This is what Chandler said. She said, this fight's going to be a catchweight at 140 pounds. And when James Lynch pressed her, she said, we had found some medical issues. I've been having some issues with my thyroid. So that was kind of the reason why my weight wasn't going down at first. She would consider a move to 145 pounds. She's fought her last 2 fights at 145. Before that, at bantamweight. So an interesting one for Chelsea Chandler. One.
I remember Kat Zingano had talked about that a lot when she had been cutting weight before she'd left the UFC. It just seems to be a problem that a lot of female fighters run into, unfortunately, but that's never a promising thing to hear when you do have a fighter being forced to take one of these weird catchweight fights, because other than the last pay-per-view that we just had, the UFC doesn't really like to do a lot of these catchweight bouts because in the grand scheme of things, they just mean the fight themselves matter a lot less because you don't really know what division rankings to put them under.
I think for Chelsea Chandler, growing up, our stepdad used to have a poster upstairs and it had one Brian McCabe. You know exactly what it said. It said exactly, the best offense is a good defense. And for Chelsea Chandler, she lives life the opposite way. The best offense is more offense and more offense and more offense. Chelsea Chandler in her fights walks these women down, throws complete caution to the wind. If you like Leslie Smith fights,
they're just going to clinch because of that, I think.
You'll like Chelsea Chandler fights. She just throws and throws and throws and throws and clinches and gets the takedown. And then throws and throws. And then if he gets back up, she throws and throws some more. If you look at these fights that she's had, her last time out, she beats Courtney King by decision. The 2 wins before that. Brittany Victoria, she drops her twice. She gets a finish by knockout. Olivia Parker, she drops her. And as Parker's days, she gets her and submits her. In her fight against King, so that was her last fight against Courtney King. 50-50 on the feet. She does get kind of a little bit dazed in that one, and that was kind of the trouble that I had. The fight against Olivia Parker. I mean, she's dropping her with a left cross. She goes to the body quite a bit, which you do like to see out of her dips, but Against King, I mean, it was what, the second round? She gets dropped by an awkward short left hand, and then she kind of pops back up, but she runs away and then gets hammered on a little bit more. Chandler, very, very active, very, very heavy with her takedowns, good top pressure. I think Chelsea Chandler is a lot better of a striker. She lands a lot more volume. She will get cracked, but she throws away all of her striking defense for all of her striking offense. Both of them car crash. Chandler has better wrestling, better top control, but I think Stoliarenko can take advantage when it does come to the match. Yeah, so my prediction in that fight, I mean, Stoliarenko did not get it done. Chelsea Chandler gets the win, but when you do consider it and you do look at Norma Dumont, Chelsea Chandler, it really is a clash of styles. Again, Dumont, very, very good when it comes to her striking. She can struggle in some of the grappling exchanges. Macy Chasson was able to pick up on that to a great extent. And we'll see if Chandler is, because Chandler, man, wings, power shots like they're going out of style. But her grappling is very top-heavy, and it is obviously the hallmark of her game. So, to me, I do have a tricky time with this one because Norma Dumont is the #1 overall featherweight in the world.
And that's kind of my question right now. What does beating Norma Dumont get you? Because Norma Dumont is in an odd position in her career. She's like... MVP I really liked when he had the Intercontinental and American Championships, but you know how when you were a fan of wrestling growing up, there were those guys that the WWE would push, and you'd always kind of be curious, right? They wouldn't be good on the mic, or they wouldn't be great in the ring. Norma Dumont kind of got her push at one point. She was in a main event slot. She was in some very high-profile fights that a lot of people had eyes on. So that's why, for me, this fight against Norma Dumont is a really interesting one, because if Chandler is able to get the win, maybe it's not like beating a Ronda Rousey or anything like that, but I do think beating Norma Dumont does give you street cred, if you will. Like, it gives you a little bit more credit than just an average unranked win would.
No, you're right. It gives you a featherweight fight, feather in your cap, to move up the bantamweight rankings and fight for nothingness. The UFC in 2023. I'm going to reference it coming up in a Mark Godbeer fight, but it's bollocks. It's bollocks, Matt. This is a really, really weird fight. So, I mean, Chelsea Chandler, again, very, 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 very good with the takedowns, working that jiu-jitsu. Cesar Gracie, BJJ. What gym is that, Matt? Who trains there?
A lot of really good guys. Sean Brady trains there.
No, it's Daniel Gracie.
Sorry, Daniel Gracie.
Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu
is... Oh, Nick Diaz. The Diaz brothers. Yeah, my bad. Goodness.
Diaz brothers. Yeah, brother. So, yeah, Chelsea Chandler, 5-1. Norma Dumont is what it is. You have a look at the Topology votes. 1,195 total votes. 82%. Dumont, Matt. She is a slight favorite in the matchup. The fans do have her, and I have her in this fight as well. Norma Dumont with the dunks. Gonna dunk on Chelsea Chandler.
I have her, but I'm going to be honest. I don't feel good about the prediction whatsoever. No. I just don't know if Norma Dumont's added a ton to her game since the fighter that we saw. It's wild. She got knocked out by Megan Anderson, right? And Norma Dumont is a good striker.
Oh, right, Christ.
But that was kind of a low light for her. But Norma Dumont today is still pretty similar to that Norma Dumont. Like, she has added a few things to her game, but for the most part, she's going to have that high guard. She's going to throw some good strikes. Like, she has good grappling defense, but if you can get her on her back, then you can expose it. Like, I just think for Dumont, I like her in the matchup for her steadiness, but if she gets caught up in some odd positions, if she gets overwhelmed up against the cage, I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever.
Garth Brooks became Chris Gaines. The Weeknd did The Idol. Judge it not by one project, judge it by a complete career, and that's how I look at it for Norma Dumont. Matt, Gigi thinks that we're robots and inhumane. I came up with that off the dome in a live show on a Tuesday night, getting ready for Holly Holm versus Maida Bueno Silva. I love McConan. I still play that song, Matt.
In the club.
Both of us going with Norma Dumont in the matchup. Some big-time fights left on this card, including one that I just mentioned, but you don't know what it is. Walt Harris taking on one Josh Parisian. You're going to want to keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, we always say.
Let's get into it.